nice little thing, we pursue her. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. Yeah. You gave a lot of game for us. And I think everybody will definitely appreciate it. I think that even though Jade is super busy, I'm her representative right now. She's taking clients, but she's not. This is just me from afar, and we can edit this if we need to. But Jade, I think it's an amazing place to be, and allows you to be at your best in delivering value when you have clients. You know what I mean? Where it's not, you're not just doing everything. Oh, I just need another client. You know what I mean? It allows you to show your expertise when dealing with a client, where I've been in positions where it's like, oh, I need this client, and I'm being a little lenient, not necessarily giving my full input, where it's just like, all right, cool, you want that? Cool. But that's really taken away from my value and what I bring. Like, I'm the expert here. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and I need to be clear on that. So I think you're in a great position to where you're not just doing stuff for money. You can tell. You're passionate about this. This is what you enjoy. It's very rewarding to you. And it seems like it's more rewarding the more you're able to pour into somebody else and give them exactly what they're looking for, even though they may not even know what they're looking for.
Right.
So,
a lot of people they think they know what they're looking for, and then I just take that to a whole different level, and they're like, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. And you're probably changing, you're probably opening them up in ways, I know you are, that it's not just design, because it's so much different. It's like people think that they like something. Most of the stuff that I like, think about it, it's what we see.
Exactly.
So if we're not exposed to it,
I mean,
and if we're not exposed to the
even me and my
combination,
design style before I did interior design, and even when I first started, was so different from the style that I have now, which I feel like is truly me. That was just, what I saw on TV and magazines and whatever before. I wasn't exposed to more of like modern spaces with the cool architecture.
I love it. All right, so so you've been successful in being your own boss.
It's been 3 years I've been on
3 years. Definitely got to salute that. Yeah. Toast to that. What's next?
What's next?
And while I give you some time to think about that question, this is what I could see. You came from an agency, and I think one of the coolest stages of entrepreneurship is when you get to the point where you're good. You know what I mean? You're good. You locked in, you know how to run things for you. Now it's like incorporating a team, building it out, and that's a whole nother challenge.
Right.
You know what I mean? But is that something that you see for yourself eventually?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Scaling the business is going to be the next hurdle that I tackle.
So,
but I'm guilty of liking to have all the control.
That was my next question. Because once you start another, it's like you got your one restaurant, but once you start a second,
and if something goes wrong, people trust me, right? With their homes, with their money, with their time, with everything that they are doing to invest just to make their lives better.
Right.
Right? At the end of the day, I am happy that I get to leave my clients knowing that I made their lives at least a little bit better and easier just by, changing their home, or maybe it's their office, or I haven't done a restaurant yet, but that's on my bucket list of projects.
I may have one.
Yeah?
I may have a connection for you.
Oh.
Hopefully, first off, let's be very clear. Director, put the camera on me, please. Right. The whole point of this, matter of fact, can you actually put it on both Jade and I? Thank you. This is very important for me, because I think that you have a gift. And I think that a lot of times it may be hard for us to say, hey, I have a gift, like really speak on it about you, which is why it's such a, like I said earlier, a privilege for me to be able to, share this with everybody else, because I'm just being from a selfish perspective. Now, when somebody does reach out to you and say, Jay, and you ask like, yo, how did you hear about me? It was through, it's through, with Dak. Like, that's a
You get
reflection
to
of
be
me.
the
You know what I mean? Like, I
connection,
want people to feel good about me. So it's always special for me when I'm able to share positive people, positive energy with other people. So that's big for me. And all right, so I asked you as far as like what's next for you, building out, the brand, building out the business. What does the perfect intern, the perfect employee, what does that look like? Because I have a feeling that
that's
people,
like a mini version of me, which is like
I have a feeling that people, because I think that the same feeling that you give people when you're designing their home and really creating a space, I think that you can also provide an amazing feeling, an amazing value to somebody that may be interested in interior design or may not be even know that they're interested in interior design, but being able to kind of show them what you do and how the connection that you're able to build with your clients, I think that that's special. So when the 100 of people reach out and say, hey, I want to work with Jade, I want to work for Jade, whatever it is, what does that ideal person look like?
It's funny because in starting my own company, I was just like, I'm starting my company and I'm out on my own and I'm doing my thing. And then maybe like a year in or so, I started getting, emails and DMs and stuff of, hey, I'm, looking for an internship, or I do, renderings and drawings and all this other stuff. I can be, on your team, or, all this other things. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm also a boss. Like, I get to hire people. I get to, provide that for people. I get to teach people. And that to me was an aspect that wasn't in the forefront of my mind, that I wasn't thinking about until I started getting those inquiries coming in, that I'm like, that's cool. Like, I didn't think about that part before. But I would love to be able to teach someone the craft and the trade and, my approach to everything.
I think
but,
whoever it
I'm
is,
pretty,
well,
I'm not the easiest. I want to be a good boss, but I also have high expectations because my clients have high expectations.
And you should. And I think that I was thinking earlier as far as, especially with a lot of these young kids that I was talking about earlier. I'm not going to go on a tangent and just rant on it. I don't like how entitled these young kids are growing up, but I think me coming from maybe that last generation of like old school football, so to say, with the old school coaches, like you don't need no water. Now it's a little different. You know what I mean? Now with science and everything, we know everybody needs water. I'm not saying that. But having those coaches, when I think back of the people that impacted me the most in my life, whether it's coaches or teachers, those were not necessarily the most enjoyable people to be around at that time. It's the tough love that challenged you, that made me uncomfortable, that forced me to be uncomfortable, that forced me to do things that I may not have wanted to do, but I say that I want to get better. I say I want to be the best at something.
It builds your character.
You know what I mean? So I think high standards are amazing, and especially in your space, you can't afford to, you compromise your standards.
Costly.
And I think that needs to be considered.
They either are going to cost me or they're going to cost the client. And either way, somebody's going to be upset.
Yeah. And people need to understand that. But I think I'm a firm believer that when you set high standards and expectations for somebody and then provide them the support, provide them the guidance, whatever it is that they're looking for, people, I think, will live up to them. Yeah. Or at least they'll try their hardest. And even if day one they're not ready to, take Jade McNeil Interiors, to the next level, I think that eventually they'll be a valued member of the team.
Yeah.
So don't reach out to Jade if you're not willing to work, if you're not ready to really commit. I don't think that you can do anything great without committing to it. I think that you alluded to, you mentioned earlier as far as getting into like kind of like a flow state. I think that comes from a lot of hard work, discipline, and commitment, and through years of just knowledge, just gained to where then you can get in that artistic flow state.
And taking your challenges as lessons and learning from them. One of the things that really catalyst, is that the right word?
Catalyst, yeah.
Was a catalyst for me was a couple of things. Number one, not being afraid to ask questions. In the beginning, I never wanted to seem green, even though I was a new designer, and I was afraid to ask questions, and I would just pretend like I knew, even though sometimes I didn't always know. And then I would go back and be like, I don't even know what that meant. I don't know what they meant when they said that. And I'm like, I got to ask the questions.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise I can't do my job.
They probably didn't know. Like, you know what I mean?
They didn't know,
Yeah.
but even like talking to contractors or, you know, collaborating with, you know, other industry professionals, whether it's doing like custom furniture or millwork or, you know, the contractors and the painters, like I need to be able to speak the language so that I can properly translate what it is that I want. Because at the end of the day, they're just going to do whatever I tell them to do.
Right.
So if it's not right and I didn't communicate that the right way, that's on me.
Yeah. And I think it takes a confident person to feel comfortable asking questions.
Yeah.
And to maybe, my big thing I know was, I don't want to ask the same question more than once or twice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make the same mistake.
Right.
But asking questions in my field, I'm sure it's maybe even more so in yours, you can't deliver on something or understand what somebody wants without asking certain questions and knowing how to interpret those answers, maybe more importantly.
Right.
So I'm definitely with you on that.
Right.
All
And
right.
then,
Yeah, big fish. We the ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's.